Right, back again at the same woodland I was in last week. Conditions are totally different today. As you can see, let me just swing round. It's really sunny, blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, and totally still it is, which is totally different from last week where it was 100% cloud coverage, really windy, and I did have to struggle a little bit just to get composition. But today my spirits lifted a bit higher, got plenty of light, though it's a bit bright at the moment. Let me just see how long we've got before the sun goes down. We're looking at about 2-3 hours or so, so I can have a nice scout around, see if I can find any compositions that I like, and then I'll talk you through them. See you in a minute. Oh. I can hear voices. Where are they coming from? I think they're coming from the field down there. As long as they're not following me with a chainsaw, I'll be alright. Let's have a look. I think that's okay. So I'm just going to walk to the top of this ridge back here, and then what I can do is have a really good view of everything behind me. And what I'm going to do is just going to stand there and just scout with my eyes and just basically pan the whole of the woodland until something jumps out at me. As soon as I find that thing, I can set up. Also, I don't know if you can notice, but where the sun's setting on that direction there, it's very hazy, the sun, which will make basically like a mist, so we can get definition at the foregrounds, and at the back it could be nice and blurred like a fog. So I'm just gonna have a wander around. Let's go up to the top of this hilltop and see if we can have another look, scan the area, find a composition. Right, I've come across my first composition. What we've got a little path. You can't really see it here, but there is a path that runs through the middle of these beech trees. Now there's 2 beech trees, one either side of the path, which are quite prominent, and then obviously there's more in the background. We can't do much about the blue sky at the moment because the sun's still up and there's no clouds or anything like that, so I'll just work with what I've got. Let me just put this back down and see if you can see it on the back of my camera. So let's just zoom in a bit. I'm going to be taking focus on the left hand side tree. Just make sure that's in focus. Yep, let's come back out. There we go. So we've got F11. I'll keep it sharp all the way through the picture. I want to get as much definition in all the beech trees as I possibly can. ISO 100 and a 40th of a second. I should better play around with some of the colours because it's side lit at the moment. So we've got shadows on the left hand side and they're quite bright on the right hand side. So we can play around with brushes and things like that in Lightroom, and we can really define the trunks, really make them stand out. And the pathway itself, I want to see if I can get a brush, just brush in the pathway just to give it a little bit more definition. Let's see how that turned out. Right, before I head back into the woodland, the pine woodland that is, I've just turned around and I've just noticed this great big oak in the distance. We've got 2 trees on the left hand side and 2 trees on the right hand side to frame it. I know the conditions are really harsh at the moment, the sunlight, but I think I can dim it down a bit if my settings are something like 1/200th of a second. So I'm just going to zoom in and get exactly where I want it to be. This is obviously on manual focus. That's okay. Let's come back out of there. I've got a 3-second timer. I want about 80 mil. Let me just take that picture there. So it's f5.6 ISO 100 and we're on 85 mil. So I'm going to have a mess about with that. What I would like to do is try and just dull all the colours down, because everything is quite burnt out, as you can see on the left hand side of all the trunks. So I'll pop that in Lightroom. Tell me what you think. Should we go and find our next composition then? Come on then, good boy. Come on, let's go. Right, let's hope the farmers around here are a little bit more friendly than these things. This obviously isn't from a water pistol. God, I'm sweating, I am. Didn't think I'd be this hot in the middle of winter. Anyway, so we're now down to our last couple of images. I'll probably talk you through one because the light is fading now. We've come back into the pine wood. If I show you in the far distance now, we're getting a lot of haze, sun haze. We haven't got very long before the sun goes down, probably about, let's have a look, about an inch, which probably equates to about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, something like that, before it goes behind the next valley. So I've just come into the woodland now. I'm just going to scout out. I've got 1, 2, 3 trees there, which could look for a good composition. We've got a little bit of the fir tree in the far distance there. The light's catching that quite nicely as well. There's some really good images I think I can capture here today. So let me just talk you through this one if I can. Let's put it on live view, manual, and let's zoom this in a bit. Right, so I've got it on this tree trunk here. Well, it's going to be a little bit harder to, because we're shooting into the sun now. Let's come back out. We've got 4 trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the right hand side we've got a bit of light. I know it might be a bit unbalanced, but like I say, I haven't developed it yet, so I could have the possibility of cropping it in. So let's have a look at the settings. So we've got 15th of a second, f5.6 ISO 100. That should make for a pretty good image actually. I can either brighten it up or darken it down. It's entirely up to me, but through there, as we can see at the moment, it's probably a bit blown out on the back of the screen, but it does look really, really nice. So this will be one of the last images I take today, but I will be taking a couple more because, like I say, I've got about 10-15 minutes before the sun goes down. And if I can get some more images, I certainly will, and I'll be popping them up as well. So, see you in a minute. We've got about 2 minutes of daylight left now, so I'm gonna have to make it back to the car. This isn't probably my favourite location, but again, you have to work with what you've got, and I think if you search hard enough you will find those compositions, even in a woodland, that possibly not really your cup of tea. This one's more pine plantation. It's a really messy woodland actually. I mean, just look behind me, there's just trees broken down and stuff like that everywhere. If you have liked this video, please like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments what's your favourite image of today. Till next time, see ya.